See, we had a lot of fun about 2 weeks ago. We went to camp. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support and your prayers while we were there. The kids up here, they had a lot of fun. I think they did because they kept talking about it on the way back. And they had worked hard throughout this year to go to camp. And you saw them on Wednesday nights cleaning up and VBS, they helped out a lot there. And we just want to thank you for helping us go all together. But camp was a whole lot of fun. It was many of their first times going to camp ever. So we went up to Lake Yale, and when we arrived, it was kind of chaotic. There were 500 kids everywhere, and we had no clue where to go. It was my first time going to Lake Yale, so I was like, which building do we go into? But it was streamlined. We got to meet a lot of new people. The first night we had a worship service, and that was really, really good. The music that you heard in the video was some of the songs that we had sang there. And then the next couple of days, what the kids would do, they broke them out by grades and by teams. So the flags that you saw in the video, each kid was put into a team. So our teams were Eclipse, Miles was in Eclipse, Bolts was Abigail, which they won first place in the big rally, and Michael was in Alliance. And so they each got separated into their teams, and throughout the week they went to Bible study and rec with their team. And each team had, 24, 25 kids in it, and they came together as like one family throughout that week. Afterwards, they each got to pick a trek or an activity that they wanted to do later on during the day. And I'm proud of our team, our youth. They didn't all choose just fun stuff. They chose some deep, heavy theological things like apologetics and how to grow. And I'm just proud of them for doing that. And luckily, since it was raining pretty much every afternoon, most of their stuff was inside. So, except Michael, you had some outdoor stuff that got canceled. But it was a lot of fun, and then we came together as a group and worshiped together and listened to some awesome sermons given by Student Leadership University people, Dr. Jay Strack and Jeff Wallace. They were the ones that gave the messages, and they were really, really great. Tonight, during the business meeting, I'll share some numbers of professions that were made throughout the week, and they were some astounding numbers. Out of 500 kids, there were great percentage of those that came to accept the Lord. And there were 33 churches there, and they said it was probably one of the best super summers that they had this year. And so I would like just to let some of the kids come up and share their thoughts of what God did in their lives.
Good morning. My name is Miles, and I'm going to be a junior. So I learned a lot from my Bible study. One thing is about God created us with a plan and a purpose. Sometimes we are so down asking God if He really has a plan for us because it seems that we were born just to suffer. There are some times that we have so much problems and we worry about it too much, not thinking that with God, nothing is impossible. He's greater than those problems. Sometimes we ask God, why are these things happening? We might not understand, but we will. His plans are greater than our own plans. We might want to be an engineer, an architect, or a doctor, but if He called us for something else, go for it. We can't do anything about it because that is what's the best for us. He knows what's best for us. God did a lot for me and taught me a lot of things in many ways through my Bible leader, friends, staffs, and of course, Miss Day and Mr. Caleb. God taught me that I don't have to solve a problem on my own because a lot of people love me and they care for me. God is so great that He made me realize a lot of things. I learned how to be a leader and learned how to defend my faith and what verses to say. I made a lot of friends, which can be a long-lasting one. I really enjoyed my week that I don't even want to go home because I can express myself more and got to know God more. Sometimes I'm praying to God for signs, but I don't really see one, and that's one thing I'm suffering with. But for several months of praying, God told me something true. I am true to the people I am with. I just have to be patient. That's it.
Hello. So for those of you who do not know me, I'm Abigail. I'm going to be a junior at Winterhaven Christian School. All right. So camp was a lot of fun. I learned so many new things, but the number one thing that stood out to me was the praise and worship. Because for me, it's kind of hard to worship very freely sometimes, especially when you're with a crowd who's very silent and shy. But the atmosphere was just very free, and everyone was doing their own thing, so it was very easy to want to worship. And so from that, I learned that you shouldn't worship just because others are worshiping, or not worship because others are not worshiping, and that we should focus on the one we're worshiping, not the ones we are worshiping with. So that's what really stood out to me. And also, I met so many different people with different backgrounds, which was kind of cool because they were in my group, and yet we all had like the same goal. So it's just kind of cool to see how God can bring people from different backgrounds together. And also from some of the sermons that we sat through, I learned a lot from that, and two things stood out to me. First one is that you can't keep pouring out because we're human. So, we're eventually going to burn out, so you can't keep pouring out unless you keep filling yourself back in with Jesus, because we're human, so we're going to burn out without Him. And also, we're not too young to do the will of God, and the pastor or the speaker, one of the quotes he said was, when you find out who you are, you find out what to do, and we're to be a voice, not an echo. So yes, that's what really stood out to me.
I forgot to tell you just one thing I learned about our students this week. I learned one major thing this week about our students, and it's this. Don't play Monopoly with Michael and let him be the banker.
Alright, good morning. I'm Diane, and I had the wonderful privilege to go to Super Summer as the female chaperone. It was a pleasure to spend the week with our students as I watched them grow closer to the Lord and to each other. Our jobs as chaperones were mainly to make sure our students were where they were supposed to be according to the schedule, and to oversee them when they were not with their college-age leaders. This was an easy task because we took 3 wonderful students who were absolutely no trouble at all. The church leaders were also responsible for conducting a devotion time after breakfast each morning and after worship each evening with our own students. Caleb did a great job with this. It was a real joy to see our students connect with Caleb since he has only been with us just a few months. God really blessed our church when He led Caleb to us. He has a real heart for students. During registration on Monday, the students were given a brief overview of about 24 different breakout sessions that they could attend, which Caleb mentioned. And they were asked to choose their top 5. Some were outside activities like bubble soccer, archery, tag, and water games. Other sessions were inside like creative movement, sign language, and leadership, Christian leadership. The adult leaders were invited to participate in most of the breakout sessions with the students. There were 2 sessions after lunch each day when the weather permitted, and each was about an hour long. With Abigail's permission, I chose to attend the apologetics class with her. I learned a lot about what apologetics really means and what it doesn't mean. Several tips and resources were shared to help us learn how to discuss our faith with gentleness and respect, rather than to debate it with rudeness and an attitude. 1 Peter 3:15 and 16 was the key verse for that class, which says, always be prepared to give the answer to everyone who asks you, to give the reason for the hope that you have. but do this with gentleness and respect, keeping a clear conscience, so that those who speak maliciously against your good behavior in Christ may be ashamed of their slander. I was very impressed with the college-age leaders and how they connected with the students. They went out of their way to engage the students during free time, during mealtime, and any other time they had the opportunity. As I observed all the students throughout the week, I was very encouraged. Sometimes we think that there are no members of the younger generation who are following God because we don't see them during our day-to-day activities. But I saw God at work equipping young people to carry the torch, to reach their generation with the good news of Jesus Christ. It was very obvious that they loved the Lord. Thank you, church, for praying for us while we were away, for sending us the notes of encouragement, and for providing the funds which allowed all of us to attend Super Summer this year. It took a lot of convincing back in January to get these students to make a commitment to go, because several had never been to youth camp before. We were asking them to step out of their comfort zone. I believe they would all say it was worth it, because they didn't want to come home on Friday, and they're already talking about going back next year. Our hope is that they will encourage their friends to join them. Thank you.
One quick thing that Diane said was they do want to go back next year, and I presented it to them on the last day. They gave us a form that the churches could pre-register for next year. I said, would you come back? And they said, yes, let's do it. And I told them this. I said, okay, we have a group of 3 right now. I said, but I want to register for 7 students. I said, you are responsible to try to get and pull 1 more student to come with you. And I think they enjoyed it a lot, and so they're looking forward to next year. And so just thank you very much for allowing us to go, and thank you for your support to our ministry here.